change it up once in a while. Have him Sneaky Bastard 1.
Welcome, everybody. I'm JD.
And I'm Gail.
And you're tuned in to the Sneakee Bastards. Yeah, we're back online here. It's Sunday, February 9th. Special day, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, special day.
Happy birthday to Sneakee Bastard number 2.
Thank you, thank you. And for my birthday, I got a birthday present. Right Bitcoin went over 10,000.
Woo! That's what we'll be talking about today, guys. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Bitcoin at the end of the show. But we're going to start off with what we think. If you didn't see our show last week, we did the top 5 predictions for 2020.
Yeah.
And we kind of mentioned it about the upcoming economic collapse that everybody's been talking about for 10 years. But we got a different take on it, being the sneaky bastards we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that, well, we don't think, I don't know what we think. I'm not quite with it here. It's your birthday, and I'm just overwhelmed that you're only turning 45.
Yeah, me too.
And it's just kind of shocking me. But there's some rumors coming out of China.
Right.
And the rest of the world that this might, who was it, Emmanuel, the mayor of Chicago.
Rahm
Emanuel, that's it. Who said, famously, never let a crisis go to waste.
Never let it, that's right.
Yeah. And we do know that the coronavirus is a crisis.
Yes. You know, and we're not making light of any of the people that have the, the virus.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, and there's going to be people sick and maybe never ever get over it, and there's going to be a lot of people die. This is not any dispersion on that or making light or fun of that kind of stuff. We make fun of each other and everybody we know, and we're called sneaky bastards. We don't have a lot of friends because we just speak our mind.
Yeah, we have like what we say. Our motto is news and views you can use, and we look at things through a different lens sometimes. And we think that this virus that's going around,
yes, the coronavirus,
could have a big impact on the economy. But not only that, we're going to throw out some conspiracy theories out there because Gail being the conspiracy theorist,
yes,
and I'm being the radical capitalist, we kind of come together sometimes. And there's rumors, you can go online and look for yourself. Everybody says China started this virus, you know, and it got loose. But now,
only because within a few miles of Wuhan is a level 4 biolab for viruses and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we don't know for sure whether this was man-made and accidentally got out, or if this is just some virus has just naturally occurred. And like Rahm Emanuel said, don't let a crisis go to waste. And we think that governments around the world, with the help of the banks, are going to try to cause the economic collapse because of what's happening with the coronavirus. Now, a lot of people don't.
Not cause.
Well, not.
They're going to allow the economy.
Allow it, yeah, okay. Because we know with the last economic slowdown, it was the banks, you know, giving out loans to anybody who.
That's right. It was the saving. You know, it was all the housing thing. They were doing all kinds of derivatives and hedging their bets.
And the banks are at it now. The debts are way higher than they.
Oh, rehypothecating stuff is like if you have let's say you've got 2 shares of, say, Yahoo or Amazon. It's in an account. You don't actually have 2 shares of Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's been estimated that there might be up to 1,000 people that think that they have a claim on those 2 shares of Amazon.
Right. Yeah.
It's called rehypothecation. And that's not a theory, that's a fact.
So, with the banks doing a lot of dirty work, and we know the economic collapse has to happen eventually because they're just printing so much money.
You can't go straight up.
Yeah.
The stock market cannot go straight up. There has to be at least, for how stock markets have been set up to exist over 150 years or whatever it was that they started the stock market thing, There has to be booms and busts. There has to be a shakeout of the dead wood. It's like giving a doggone flea bath to get rid of the fleas and ticks. You have to have a pullback in a market of 10 to 20% every so many years.
And we know that the government wants this to happen because it's a good way for them to kind of clean out their books a little bit.
Yes.
And they
have to
they're
have someone to
trying to
blame.
keep it from happening because they don't want, because the governments and banks are in it together.
Right.
And the governments don't want the banks to take all the blames because then the governments won't get their money that they need because they get a lot of it from the money.
Well, they won't get their pay for play and they won't get their secret money. And
so they might take this as a time to let the economic collapse happen and blame it on this virus. Because we know right now China's having a really hard time keeping up with their manufacturing sector.
Well, Hyundai, which is a car, and I got a Hyundai and I really love it. The Hyundai factory in South Korea, where they're manufactured at, they've had to shut the factories down. There's a couple of them in South Korea. They've had to shut them down. They're not manufacturing Hyundai cars in South Korea right now because they need parts from China and they can't get the parts because they have literally cordoned off with military troops. I don't know, half a dozen cities. There's like 40 million. No. Well, it's over 40 million.
I saw the smoke.
But it's definitely causing economic turmoil right now because Apple is saying that they're going to run out of product here within the month if China doesn't open back up.
If China doesn't open back up, you're not getting any new Apple iPhones.
You're going to start seeing prices of products going up because we're not getting them from China like we should be.
It's supply and demand.
So trade is starting to hurt all around the world.
So if you think you're going to buy a new Apple iPhone for 20% off because there's a holiday coming up or something, wrong.
Yep.
There's not going to be any discounts. You're going to pay full price at least, or they're going to do a back order thing or whatever. So, and used iPhones will go up in price just because supply and demand.
Yep. Now we don't have any proof of this yet, but we're pretty sure that the banks are probably talking with the people and some of the government officials trying to find out how they can
blame it on the virus.
How the banks can get out of this.
Well, see, the banks, they've over-leveraged stuff. All of your governments, and by the way, India has been printing some money. China has pumped $2 trillion, and this is from not conspiracy people like me. It's on mainstream like Bloomberg and stuff like that. China has injected a new $2 trillion in the last month or so just to keep their markets afloat. India is pumping $700 billion into their thing. There's countries all over the world that's printing money and pumping it in to keep the markets afloat. Sooner or later, you have to pay the bill.
Yep.
So if the economy can crash and they can blame it on the coronavirus, well, the bank managers, the board of executives, the bank president, stuff like that, and politicians that want to get reelected, if they can convince the public that the coronavirus is the culprit of why the world economy has collapsed, but we've got the solution how to take and fix it. Reelect us.
And let us bail out the banks again because they're going to be bailed out.
Right.
So, we're thinking that the economic collapse, we know they were going to try to keep it from happening until after the election.
Right.
Pretty sure that's what Donald Trump wants, to keep it.
Well, all politicians, not just Donald Trump.
But then when you have, like you said, other world governments in the same predicament we are, everybody's in so much debt. We have a feeling they're going to come on board and let the economic collapse happen sooner rather than later.
Correct.
So we're thinking probably before the election, the economy is going to take a big hit. One way or another, if the coronavirus still blocks off China, which everybody wants to do now, they don't want nothing coming out of China.
There's at least two that are confirmed on mainstream media, and 2 other cruise ships that's got anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 people on a cruise ship. They're anchored offshore, quarantined, so you've got thousands of people on cruise ships that are in quarantine because of coronavirus. That's a fact. That's not
and not only that, Australia is
Mhm.
going to be in very bad shape because 1/3 of their economy comes from China.
Yes.
And if they stop getting products from China, that's 1/3 of their economy taking a hit in Australia.
And
So-
if a whole lot of people from China have come over on some kind of a dinghy or a boat, kind of like the people on the flotilla lift, like with the Mariana boat lift, or the people coming from the Arab region to Europe, like happened for the last several years, and there's been a whole bunch of people from China trying to get out and sneak into Australia, I am wanting to put $10 or $20 bet with you that secretly we're going to see a large explosion of the coronavirus in Australia just because there are so many people from China in Australia. Australia and Canada, and this is not conspiracy, this is a fact, they try to get their money out of China, so they buy property in Canada and Australia, and they've jacked up the housing markets where it's unbelievable. I mean,
Canada.
Property, especially in Canada, I mean, they got houses up there that you might as well be in Hollywood. They've jacked the prices of, like, a 1,400 square foot house, and they're wanting $1.3 million for it.
All right, now on the same subject, again, we're not here to spread rumors, but we do like to go through some conspiracy theories once in a while, and we just want you to think about this.
And protect yourself.
We've heard before about the climate change, and you're wondering how in the hell is the climate change tying into this virus?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've always heard that man is evil. We destroy the world. It's pollution. Wars on end. And what if China let this virus accidentally loose in order to
thin out their population?
Yeah, slow down the population.
Yeah, because they got, 1.4, 1.5 billion people? It's 3 or 4 times the population of the United States.
I mean, look at the infrastructure they have to have for so many people, the food production. And then if this gets out and goes, like you said, to India, what happens?
Food production. This is not a conspiracy thing. This is fact. Last year, there was a huge swine flu where anywhere from 30 to 35% of all hogs had to be destroyed. And by destroyed, I don't mean killed and put in the doggone market. They had to be buried or burned of the hogs because there was a swine flu. And last week, there was a new bird flu where anywhere from 25% to 30% of all the chickens are having to be destroyed because of a new H5N1 bird flu.
Yeah, so they're going to have a hard time feeding their population.
Yes.
And, I'm sure they don't want to be known as the country that starved their people to death because they can't feed them. So if they can blame it on a virus and
Correct.
say, hey, this has just happened. And
with China. A lot of people in China, they travel around the world and stuff like that, the richer people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them go to Hong Kong because you can legally gamble and all that stuff. They want to be able to blame the recession or depression or whatever happens on the virus because they don't want a Hong Kong type of revolution.
Yeah.
It's politicians trying to stay in power.
So we've kind of thrown a lot at you on this show, and there's a couple things to think about. Again, we don't have much proof on any of this, but it's just our way of thinking.
It's a possibility.
So, we'll see what happens. So stay tuned. If you're watching us, we'd like it if you'd give us a like and, a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That'd be great, but we'd rather you share it with some of your friends. Check us on YouTube on the Sneakee Bastards and on Facebook under Every Bit Matters.
Correct.
We got a Facebook page, so check us out there. But we would love you to share this just to get the idea out there. And some of your friends might be into conspiracy, so we'll
all
share
right,
it with
now
you.
let's just take this for a second here.
Put your opinion in there.
Yeah, leave comments.
Yeah, comments and opinions. That'd be great. Here's what we're trying to say. We're not trying to create panic or anything.
No.
But if there were to be an outbreak, let's say in Dallas, Texas, what you need to do now is like we do in Florida or they do in South Texas, you hire what we call hurricane preparedness.
Good
Get
idea.
yourself all kinds of beans, canned things like that.
At least a couple of weeks of food.
I would say at least a month because of this. Because what can happen is if you wind up, and God forbid it happens, we're not promoting it.
No.
I would say keep at least a month worth of food, find some way to filter water and stuff like that, buy water. Because what can happen is if there were to be a small outbreak, and it's not as bad as what we might think, and it's just but people could panic.
Yeah.
Because people could panic, the shelves would be empty, and you might be trying to fight somebody over a can of pork and beans. Hey, let's say we're totally wrong, and you've got a month's worth of food or 2 months worth of food. Guess what?
Have a party.
Have a party, or
Have them bring the
because
food.
you don't need it, the money you would be spending on groceries, put it in the savings, and take a nice vacation. You're going to get a vacation for free
There you go.
because you were prepared in case it did happen.
All right, let's end this show on a good note since it is Gail's birthday, Sneakee Bastard 2's birthday. We're going to end it on a good note here because I think it's crypto time.
Crypto
We haven't
time.
done much crypto news lately, so right now let's do some crypto news. There we go. Well, happy birthday, Gail.
Thank you very much.
Bitcoin has jumped to 10,000.
Actually, it ran
$10,000 of Bitcoin.
up to 10,200 and it's pulled back to like $10,060 right now.
So, it's not as high as it was a couple years ago. Was it 2018? 2018 it was up there close to 16, 17,000, almost 20 grand.
It ran up right at $19,000.
And this year has been kind of bad for the altcoins, the smaller coins out there. A lot of people don't understand how many coins there are. There are quite a few digital coins.
Wow, there's 2,000-3,000.
And Bitcoin's known as digital gold.
Digital gold.
And it's starting to go up, but it's also starting to bring up the smaller coins.
Correct.
So that's
a rising
good.
tide raises all ships.
That's good news, Gail and I, because we've got a couple coins.
Yeah.
That we are almost giving up on, but who knows? Something might happen. But yes, Bitcoin now is above 10,000. Now there are all a couple of different reports saying it might drop down one more time before it starts taking off.
Right.
But of course, everybody's making these predictions.
But if there's a pullback in the market, people might be trying to get out of the stock market or out of bonds because the bonds have been, the yield curve's inverting again.
Yeah.
So they may try to get into what they might see as a more safe haven asset. They'll try cryptocurrencies and gold and silver.
So as we see this virus go on, a lot of people are getting into gold, metals, precious metals, but also Bitcoin, which is now almost being considered as the digital gold.
Correct.
So, it's a good news for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not used a lot for transactions.
No, it's more of a store of value.
Store of value. So we thought we'd end it on some good news, which is Bitcoin's taking off, altcoins are taking off, and we wish we could buy a few more.
Yeah.
And we're going to go check out a lot of people probably don't know, but there are ATMs now to where you can buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's Bitcoin ATM and there's one new one called CoinFlip.
Yeah, so you can just go to your local convenience store, put your phone up there, and buy some Bitcoin. Buy a couple just for the hell of it. Or not a couple because it's expensive, but buy some Bitcoin, a couple $100 worth or whatever. It's kind of like precious metal. You never know, it might take off.
CoinFlip has got about 8 or 9 different.
We're not financial advisors. We're not telling you to do this to make money.
No, it's just like the stock market. Don't spend what you can't lose.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Don't take a loan to go buy something because you think Bitcoin's going to double.
All right.
No.
We've been on for a while, so we need to come to the end of the show.
All righty.
But before we do, I'd like to give a toast to my good buddy here, Gail.
Thank you very much.
A beautiful 45. Happy birthday.
Okay.
And we'll see everybody
Happy birthday to
later
you.
next week, or when we do our weekly show, or throughout the week, because I got a couple ideas.
Alrighty.
And you're tuned in to Sneaky Bastards. I'm Sneaky Bastard 1.
I'm Sneaky Bastard 2.
And if you would give us a like, subscribe, that would be really killer. But really, please share this with your friends. If you have any comments, leave it there on YouTube. Again, just search the Sneaky Bastards. That's 2 E's on the end of Sneaky. All right, we kind of sneak that in there. Just not to get confused with the other Sneaky Bastards. All right, everybody, have a good one. I'm JD.
And I'm Gail.
And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
We got